Okay, everybody. So today we are going to cover the area of a circle. We're going to find the area of the circle. So we did a lesson where we covered the area of a sector, which was only like a pizza slice, right? But in this case, we're going to find the area of the entire pizza. So we want to know how much overall pizza do we have, right? The whole thing. How much pizza do we have, right? So radius should look familiar with you to you all. The radius is the distance from the center to the side of a circle. And this is the radius, right? And we usually call that R, right, in our formulas, right? And then here we have diameter. Remember, diameter is the distance from one side of the circle going all the way through the center to the other side. The diameter, it goes all the way across, right? And that was D, right? Now, if you notice, radius is from the center to the side, right? Remember? From the center to the side here, from the center to the side there. So there are two R's here. So remember that a diameter is equal to two R's, right? Two of them, two R's. So we have to remember this, right? So we're finding area here. So the area, the formula for the area, we use A for area, is actually simpler than the circumference, which we did before. The formula for the area is R squared times pi. R squared times pi. So this is what we're going to use. Oop. Should have used pink here. This is the formula that we're going to use to find the area. And we're also going to use this one when they give us the diameter, right? So we have to look at, so as the first example, we have to look here at what they're asking, right? And what they give us. So it says find A if you have the diameter. So if you have D, right? So here they give us D. From the distance from this point going to the middle all the way to the other point on the circle is 20 miles. So that's a pretty big circle, right? It's 20 miles. They want to know how much area, how much area is covered in that circle. So like radar, right? They use it a lot like this. How much area is in here? Okay, so since we have D here, we have to use the D formula, the distance formula. So we write it, D is equal to 2 times R. So we know that this is D, right? This is the distance. So I simply plug in D. D is 20. So I say 20 is equal to 2 times R, right? Well, my goal here is to solve for R. So this is 2 times R, so I cross out 2 here where I'm multiplying and I go to the other side and I divide. 20 divided by 2 is 10. So there's my R, right? And I need R to do this to find my area, right? Because the formula is R squared. So I'm going to write down the formula. Area A is equal to R squared times pi. Well, how much is R? R is 10. So I can say 10, parentheses, 10 squared times pi. Well, 10 squared is 10 times 10, which is equal to 100, times pi, which is 100 pi. So the area is 100 pi, which is in terms of pi. But if I need it in decimal form to the nearest tenth, I say 100 times pi is equal to 3.1415. So this is all, or 314, I'm sorry, 0.15. Now, my tens place is this one here. Is the tens place. So the 5 is going to tell the 1 what to do. So since the 5 is 5 and bigger, it's going to tell the 1 to become a 2. So this area can be 314.2 miles squared is what they call it. Miles squared, right? Because whenever we find the area of something, you say it's squared because we're squaring something, right? So 314 miles squared, or 100 pi miles squared, right? Okay. The second example, oops, make sure this is lined up here. Sorry for the shakiness. I want to make sure that everything is on there. So, on the second example here, find the area if you have the radius, right? So I forgot to put R here, right? The radius is always in purple, right? So we have our radius here. It's 3 miles. So this is our R. So if you notice on this example, it doesn't talk anything about a diameter. There's no D. So there's no need to use this right here. So we're not even going to, so we're going to skip that. We're going to go straight into the area formula. So A is equal to R squared times pi. So we know our R, our radius, it's in purple here. So I'm going to substitute. So my R here is 3 miles. The distance from the center to the side of the circle is 3 miles. So I'm going to put that in parentheses like this. Squared times pi. 3 squared is 3 times 3 is 9. Times pi is 9 pi. So this is in terms of pi. The answer is 9 pi. Or, I use my calculator. You guys can use your calculator or your Delta Math calculator. And you say 9 times pi is equal to 28.27. 28.27. And then again, my 2 is in my tens place. I'm rounding both of these to the nearest tenth. And the 7 is the neighbor. So this 7 is going to tell the 2 what to do. So it's going to tell it to become a 3. So the area is equal to 28.3 miles squared. So 28.3 square miles is the way you would say it, right? They talk about squares. So that's the area in here, which was in pink right here. All of this is 28.3 square miles. So now that we've done that, let's do a few examples that you're going to see on Delta Math. So let's make sure that this is visible here. All right. So first step, let's draw a circle here. All right, let's have a visual with our point in the center. And it says the radius of a circle is 9 feet. So from the center to the side is 9 feet. Well, the radius we know is in purple. That is our radius. So nowhere does it say find the diameter. So there's no need to find the diameter, so use the formula D equals 2R, right? We're not going to use it. So let's go straight to our A area formula equals R squared times pi. So A is equal to R squared times pi. So we remember that radius is R, right? So I'm simply going to substitute. What is my R? What is my radius in this formula? It's 9 feet. So I'm going to say 9 squared times pi. 9 times 9 is 81. Times pi is just pi. Now, if you notice here, they want the answer, or this question is asking for the answer in terms of pi. So that's my answer right there. And actually, 81 pi feet squared, right? But when you're entering the answer on Delta Math, they're not going to want you to put the feet, but you know, that's how you read it. So 81 pi feet squared, okay? So second example, again, let's draw our circle here. Not perfect circles, right? But it doesn't matter. So point in our center. This has the diameter, so I'm going to draw a line all the way across the center to the other side. So here's my diameter. My diameter is 4 centimeters. So 4 centimeters, that's my diameter. Find its area in terms of pi. So I know I'm going to leave this answer with pi in it, right? So this says the diameter. So D, I know I have to use this D formula. D is equal to 2R. D is equal to 2R. Well, I know that this is my D. That is my diameter. So I simply plug in D where? Right here. 4 is equal to 2R. Well, my goal here is to get R by itself. So 2 times R, the opposite of multiplying is dividing. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So 2 is equal to R. R equals 2, right? So we have R now. Perfect. R is what we need to find our area. The area is equal to R squared times pi. So the area is equal to R squared times pi. How much is R? Let's not forget our R is in purple, right? R is 2. So parentheses 2 squared times pi. So area is equal to 2 squared, which is 4, times pi is pi. We're dealing with centimeters here, so we say centimeters squared. So my answer, I left it in terms of pi, because it said here terms of pi, is 4 pi centimeters squared. All right, next example here. Again, I always start with my circle here. I'm going to draw my circle and I draw my center point. The radius. So I know I'm going to draw a line from the center to the side here. My radius is 3 inches, so it's a small circle. So I say 3 inches. So since this is my radius, I know this is going to be in purple here, and this is my R, right? So nowhere does it say diameter D, so I'm not going to be using this D equals 2R. I'm going to go straight into the formula. The formula says area is equal to R squared times pi. Well, we know our R is in purple, our radius, so we're going to simply plug in. So R is 3. 3 squared times pi. 3 times 3 is 9, and times pi is pi. But notice here it says to the nearest tenth. So we need to use our calculator and multiply 9 times pi, which gives us 28.27. This is equal to 28.27. The nearest tenth, the 2 is in the tens place. So that means that the neighbor 7 here is going to tell this 2 what to do. It's going to tell it to go up. So our area here, I'm going to put it over here, is going to be 28.3 inches squared. That's my answer, right? Because it's to the nearest 10. They wanted a decimal answer. They want an answer that's a decimal. So next question, last one here. So again, let's draw our circle. Let's draw our point in the center, and let's read. The diameter, well, I know it's going to be a point from one side of the circle through the center all the way to the other side. The diameter is 4 feet. So 4 feet from one side of the circle all the way to the other. So this is my diameter, right? So I'm going to need to use the diameter formula, which is D is equal to 2R. D is equal to 2R. Well, this is, my diameter is 4, so I'm going to plug in 4 here, is equal to 2R. Well, my goal is to get R by itself. So this is 2 times R, so the opposite of multiplying is dividing. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that's my radius. I solved for R. And now that I have R, I can find my area. And my area is equal to R squared times pi. And how much is R? R is 2. So 2 squared times pi. 2 times 2 is 4 pi, right? Now I need this, though, to the nearest tenth. So I need to write this as a decimal. I need to write this as a decimal, right? So I go to my calculator on Delta Math and I say 4 times pi is equal to 12.56. 12.56. So my 5 is my tens place. So that means that my 6 is going to tell my 5 what to do. So since it's 5 or bigger, so the area is going to be 12.6 feet squared. And that's my area here. I had to write it as a decimal because it said to the nearest 10. And these are the kind of problems you're going to see on Delta Math for this assignment. Remember to highlight with me, do the work along with me, right? If you need to rewind, if you need to pause, please do so.